Residential towers, mixed-use developments, semiconductor megasites, more good food, and better highways are all on Raleigh's horizon. I often have people in the comments challenging me on my opinion of our housing market. Now, I love a good challenge because I love to hear different perspectives. It helps me to think of things that I might not have thought of, and sometimes I change my mind about things. I know that's a novel idea, right? I'm not naive about the difficulties facing our country, but many times these viewer challenges about the housing market don't take into consideration the much broader economic picture of what's happening in the Triangle that's directly impacting our housing market. It isn't just that home prices in the Triangle have increased sharply. The Raleigh area itself is transforming. In today's video, I'm not talking about the housing market per se, but I am talking about some of the new developments, things that are going to be coming to the area soon that are going to have a significant impact on our economy and ultimately our housing market. High-density residential construction is booming in downtown Raleigh. Downtown Raleigh has historically been pretty limited in the types of housing available. For many years, Raleigh's been the kind of city that people went to for work, but then the city kind of shut down at night and it didn't have much of a nightlife. It's one of those things that some people complained about, and sometimes they still do when they say that Raleigh's too boring. Listen to this. The first grocery store in downtown Raleigh opened in 2019. Yes, 3 years ago, the first grocery store opened in downtown Raleigh. Now they have two grocery stores, Publix and Weaver Street Market. Interestingly enough, Weaver Street won't let me in to shoot any video in there. It's a very cool little store. They might think I'm trying to case the joint, steal a banana later on. Anyway, all of that is changing.
There's a lot of residential construction across the area right now. Here in our neighborhood in downtown Raleigh, more than 8,300 new apartment units are in the works.
Raleigh currently has a 95% occupancy rate for rentals, but they have about 1,500 new units currently under construction and 2,000 new units in the permitting phase. I know that those numbers might not mean much out of context, but I promise you it is a lot. And with that rental housing comes more businesses to serve those renters, more restaurants, coffee shops, and who knows, maybe another grocery store. But I want to give you an idea of the character and quality of the development that's happening. Let's look at a couple of these communities. Kane Realty is going to be building a new mixed-use development in the West End. This is the area just south of the Warehouse District and about a quarter mile from Red Hat Amphitheater. It's a 5-minute walk from Raleigh favorites like Fiction Kitchen, Pool's Diner, and Vivaldi Chocolates. This is Kane's second development in the West End. The first one started construction last fall, and while neither of these projects are completed yet, you can get a good idea of what they might look like by looking at some of Kane's previous projects. Kane was the original visionary of the North Hills area.
No golden wrecking balls or fancy ceremonies. The end of North Hills Mall began with the work of an iron claw. Once every brick drops and the dust is swept away, a new vision for this prime property will begin. Developer John Kane will create what he calls a Midtown District, the first of its kind in the Triangle.
Let's enjoy shopping here, 20 years ago, and we just want to recreate that again in today's vision to make it a place of community and a place that people want to come be.
Taking a nearly dead shopping mall and turning it into a model of retail and mixed-use development for the Triangle area, it was truly the first of its kind in the area. And what's so interesting to me is that while John Kane comes from a long line of building contractors, he didn't really start out to change Raleigh in the way he has. He was a builder who saw an old aging mall that had become an eyesore and decided to take a huge risk that no one else was willing to take. I think this actually changed the trajectory of Raleigh. It changed people's perspectives of what Raleigh could be. Another one of Kane's projects is the continued development of the 33-acre Innovation District at North Hills. While Kane has seen some occasional pushback on his designs, I think mostly for being more urban than many Raleigh natives care for, I am confident that whatever he puts his hand to will involve beautiful design.
And at a cost of $1 billion, now this. The North Hills Innovation District. It includes an 18-story office building, a 200-unit apartment complex, and a 2-story, 20,000-square-foot dining area.
World-class food has arrived. Back when Raleigh was that city that shut down at 6 p.m., the restaurant scene was a graveyard. It was so bad, and the city so badly wanted to create a vibrant city that they invested $1 million into a restaurant called The Mint back in 2008. but it only lasted 4 years before closing. We've added nearly 100,000 people in Raleigh since that time, and the restaurant scene is changing.
This morning on The Dish, a chef the James Beard Foundation called the darling of Raleigh, North Carolina. Ashley Christensen was born and raised in the state, and she's opened 6 acclaimed restaurants.
And it's starting to snowball. You have to realize, though, that in the past, restaurants that strayed too far from traditional Southern food didn't last very long. That really isn't the case anymore. It would be a stretch to call Raleigh a foodie city, but it wants to be one, and the way things are going, it just might get there. Just this year, the Triangle area sported 6 semi-finalists for the James Beard Award, 3 finalists and 1 winner. Ricky Moore at the Saltbox Seafood Joint in Durham won Best Chef in the Southeast. The Triangle Business Journal recently reported that in 2011, Wake County collected $17.7 million in restaurant taxes, and in 2021, that had risen to $28 million, and in the first quarter of 2022, they collected a whopping $30 million. The food scene in Raleigh is just another bit of evidence that the area is growing and diversifying, and that affects the housing market. Chef Katsuji Tanabe, a Top Chef alum who's cooked in top restaurants in LA, Chicago, and New York, moved to the Triangle looking for a better quality of life for his family. And although he's no economist either, he's been quoted as saying, "This place is going to grow wildly in the next few years." All things being equal, I happen to agree. There's definitely good food coming to Raleigh. Next on the list is road enhancement. This might not seem as interesting as downtown development or cool new restaurants, but seeing where roads are being developed tells us a lot about where other types of development will follow. For example, the last section of 540 Loop has been under construction since 2019. When it's complete, Clayton, which is currently a 35 to 55 minute drive to RTP, will be 15 minutes closer. I'll do that math for you. That'll be 20 to 40 minutes commute. I talked to a lot of people about comfortable commute times, and I'm telling you that Clayton is going to be a desirable spot to a lot more people once 540 is done. That's absolutely going to affect property values in Clayton and the surrounding areas. They continue to work on the expansion of I-40 south of Raleigh, making areas southwest of the city an easier commute, and there are plans to transform an existing freeway into an interstate that would connect the areas southeast of Raleigh from Fayetteville to Sanford with Greensboro.
Soon could become Interstate 685, something that would not only impact drivers, but businesses and even the military. You can see here on this map, it would start near West Salem and end in...
Connecting the areas around Raleigh like this is just going to make it easier for businesses and developers to continue the area's growth. I've said before that I don't think we'll ever look like San Francisco here, mostly because we have the land to expand. The expanding highways are just the first step in that direction, making currently outlying cities and towns easily accessible to the larger established cities. While the big corporations moving to the Triangle like Apple and Facebook get most of the headlines, everyone knows that small businesses remain the backbone of any local economy, and the Triangle has developed a reputation as one of the best places for entrepreneurs. Way back in 2010, when the country was experiencing an economic downturn, Raleigh was ranked 3rd in small business vitality. In 2021, Durham was voted the 2nd best city in the country to start a business, and Raleigh was ranked the 7th best in the country. In the first quarter of 2022, 47,000 new businesses registered in North Carolina, up 80% from the start of the pandemic. And in July of this year, North Carolina was ranked as the best state in the country for business climate.
It is the moment we have all been waiting for, the big reveal, America's top state for business 2022.
This year, the winner stands clear. North Carolina, the Tar Heel state, with 1,580 out of 2,500 points, America's strongest overall economy.
What that means, in part, is that you get really cool businesses like this one popping up in the Triangle. The Dogwood Country Club is a virtual golf center in Raleigh that allows players to play over 100 courses from around the world, from Pebble Beach to St. Andrews, and refine their swing with high-tech gadgets. Can you tell I'm not a golfer? I tried, but no. But I'm sure that others love this kind of stuff, and that's what's so great about having a very business-friendly city. As entrepreneurs pursue their passion, the rest of us benefit and everyone's quality of life rises, even if you don't play golf. Someone posted in the comments a couple of weeks ago about how Apple coming to the Triangle isn't enough to support a healthy housing economy moving forward, but I think that person might not be familiar with the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, and maybe you aren't either, so let me tell you about them because they are rocking it. This is not just about Apple. people, the EDPNC is developing and marketing the incredible opportunities we have available in North Carolina. A couple of weeks ago, I shared with you about a mega site outside of Sanford called Triangle Innovation Point, where VinFast recently committed to building their manufacturing headquarters. But this is just one of many projects going on throughout the state, and there's another mega site in development just north of the Triangle that's going to have a huge impact on development in those rural counties to our north, as well as the counties of Southern Virginia. If you've never heard the term megasite, a megasite is a land development by private developers, universities, or governments to promote business clusters. These organizations develop the land so that it's shovel ready for big business by improving the infrastructure, roads, utilities, and landscape. RTP was the first megasite in North Carolina, but they're developing them all over. And the Person County megasite is going to have a big impact on us here in the Triangle. Because of the resources available at the Person County megasite, this is a great location for businesses that need a lot of power and water, such as semiconductor manufacturing, which is who's being marketed to.
The Person megasite is a 1,350-acre site. It has been positioned and geared towards the semiconductor industry, battery manufacturing, and data center, just to name a few. So basically large advanced manufacturing that need large amounts of power, need very high power quality. Those assets are already in place on the site.
And what do you need for semiconductor manufacturing? You need engineers and computer scientists. Now, it's a lot easier to grow something that already exists than it is to create something out of nothing. We do already have some great engineering and computer science programs in our universities, and we develop incredible talent here in North Carolina. But even though there are 10,000 students at NC State's College of Engineering, the North Carolina legislature just gave the university $50 million to expand its facilities and hire new professors to increase the enrollment to 14,000. And North Carolina was recently awarded a federal grant of $25 million to increase the life sciences workforce in the state. NCU in Durham, Durham Tech, Wake Tech, as well as the 2 HBCUs in Raleigh, Shaw, and St. Augustine are going to receive funding to up their ability to train their students to benefit from the growing life science and biotech opportunities in the region. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that it just isn't housing prices that are booming. The region is booming, and when they're manufacturing semiconductors here and supersonic jets here and electric cars here and pharmaceuticals here, and software here and here, and they're all connected with these good highways, it's really hard to imagine that the region will not continue to grow, maybe even on a steeper trajectory than we've already seen. If you like this video, you might also like this one.